Hello and welcome to another episode of Historic Hindsight. I'm John, that's Tom, and today we're talking about cigars.
That's right, Johnny. Cuban cigars are why
Illegal,
we can't have
or were,
Cuban
maybe
cigars
not.
because, missile crisis. We're actually talking
Was
about
it
the
related?
missile.
Was
Yeah,
it actually?
Well, it's
Sorta.
part of the embargo. Yes.
Cold War, all
yes.
that stuff.
Yes.
It's all kind of...
Yeah. It's all in there, and it's the Cuban Missile
So I got
Crisis.
close to right, which is good.
Which is good. It's the closest that we've ever gotten to all-out World War III nuclear warfare
So far.
and it was real close.
Up until this point, we're recording on May 18th.
Yes.
I think you need to specify when we say it's the closest we've been to World War III.
Yeah, fair point. Yeah, fair point.
Up until now.
So it's going to span 13 days where the U.S. and Russia stare each other down over Cuba. And so, pre-context, Johnny, post-World War II, U.S. hates communism and Russia is expanding.
Of course.
Oh, no. So
Red Scare,
that we can find, we're involved in shit and shenanigans. America, since the Spanish-American War, effectively controlled Cuba just 90 miles from the coast of Florida through various puppet leaders, including the national military dictator Batista. But in 1959, Johnny, after a 6-year revolution, the communist Fidel Castro, he's going to knock out Batista, take over Cuba.
Now, that was he our puppet? Were we the revolution, or
No, Batista was our puppet.
the people revolted and put in Castro. Okay.
Yeah, who's a communist.
Naturally.
And so can't have communism just
no,
90 miles off the coast of the United States. Yeah.
Oh my God. I mean, we have people coming over on boats and stuff from there. We can't have communism that close. Whole damn state of Florida is going to be communist in no time.
Enter Kennedy's brilliant idea of the Bay of Pigs, which is going to be another special that we do at a later date because that
We've not done that, right?
Huh?
No, we did the Pig War. That's different.
Pig War, yeah, different pigs.
Yeah,
Different pigs. It's gonna be a separate episode, but all you need to know is that the U.S. Supporting dictator got ousted from Cuba. Americans hate communists. They attempt to take over Cuba by launching an invasion of Cuba that does not go well, and that invasion was all done by CIA operatives and
Did it not go well because we tried to do it kind of secretively and we didn't just
we didn't just
land our military there and just go after them.
Put some troops, but it wasn't like a full scale.
It's more
invasion.
like special agent, small scale, try to disrupt things from the inside type mentality or whatever.
Yeah, and it fails, and so naturally Castro runs to Russia, fellow communist, and goes, "Hey,
no, we got these people
America's
90 miles
fucking around with us. You want to come and help a fellow comrade out?" And Russia and both China are like, "Yeah, we'd love to help.
Why not?
Fellow communist out.
They could get a foothold that close to Florida.
Yes, right. Good plans for everybody." In 1961, the U.S. is going to place Jupiter nuclear-class missiles in Italy and Turkey. And even after the failed Bay of Pigs, they're going to continue exercises. They're going to continue to exercise a campaign of basically, for lack of a better word, terrorism in Cuba, using CIA operatives to sabotage everything in Cuba.
Oh wait, no! You just said something that the United States did was terrorism.
Yes, yeah.
No, it was most likely a counterterrorism act.
Sure.
They were preventing terrorism in the future from happening.
Sure.
By doing terrible things.
Yes, we'll go with that. Sure.
But we're not terrorists. We were not.
No, that'd be crazy. Why would we be?
That would be insane.
Why would we be the terrorists?
That doesn't make any sense.
That doesn't make
any sense. We're the good guys.
Nope, we're the good guys.
Right?
Yep. So, in any case, Johnny, we're doing terrorism. We've got nuclear missiles in Italy and Turkey as a part of keeping the world safe from communism.
I imagine that's to be hey, Russia and China, we are
hey,
here
we got
too.
Missiles here. Yeah.
We're close.
So Cuba, rightfully so, continues to beg Russia for support and weapons to defend themselves against the United States invasion, keeping in mind that this isn't paranoia, it's actually happening. We tried it with the Bay of Pigs. This isn't Castro being weird. This is legitimately we are a threat to Cuba.
Under attack, essentially.
At the same time, Cuba's getting cozy with China, and although they are communists as well, they're a bit different than the Russian communists, and Russia and China are also a little bit at odds. So when China starts to favor Cuba as well, Russia then like doubles down on Cuba, going, no, we were here first. Like, well, we're gonna.
All right, so they're trying to outbid each other to be the communist helper more so. Now, with China, the way they buddied up with China is probably different from the way that we currently buddy up with China with trade and manufacturing and everything else. Like because communism's bad and we
there's a degree of that, but they're trying to get weapons and stuff to keep us safe keep them safe from Cuba.
So they're trying to
US.
do in Cuba what we did in Italy, where they just want their weapons there to be threatening to people around them.
Yes.
But the people around them is us.
Yes.
And we don't like that.
No, we don't like that.
That makes sense. That's fair.
Now, there's a secret meeting between Castro and Khrushchev that's going to take place in July of 1962, and the two leaders are going to agree to place nuclear missiles in Cuba. These missiles are going to have launch facilities being built in the beginning of the summer of 1962.
Well, shit. Don't like that. I mean, that I can understand why people are not thrilled.
Happy about that part?
That seems scary for us.
Yeah. Now, fast forward to October.
The whole of the United States.
Yeah. Now, fast forward to October 14th, 1962. A U-2 spy plane, one of ours, U-2 spy plane flying over Cuba, which, again, that is not exactly recognizing the sovereignty and the Cuban airspace, all that fun stuff. Yeah, we're violating so much stuff by flying a spy plane over Cuba.
U-2 what plane?
It's called a U-2 spy plane. These are super high altitude spy plane.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. Are they're supposed to listen to rules? Spies?
Yeah, sure.
Tommy? It's a spy plane. What are we going to spy on our allies?
Maybe. Well, we kind of...
yes.
We do that as well.
Of course.
What are you talking about? Yeah.
But not only.
Yeah. So, this on the 14th, this U-2 spy plane, they're going to spot a medium-range R-12 and intermediate R-14 ballistic missile facilities inside of Cuba. Mm-hmm. On the 15th of October, the CIA notifies the Department of State...
I'm sorry. It is... Maybe you don't know. Is it... are the facilities so distinct based on the missiles that they're launching that they can tell from far away? Or do they have other... How do they know exactly...
So
it's not just a missile launching facility.
So the spy planes cameras are good enough that they can tell what type of missiles are on the ground.
Okay, so they're just excellent pictures.
Excellent pictures, and they
know
actually
are moving, storing everything.
Yeah, and we have details on all the Russian equipment, just like the Russians had details on all of our equipment. Sure. So, like from a plane picture, the missiles are
say,
different
okay,
enough.
that's
you can tell, that's definitely a ballistic missile. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. On the 15th of October, the CIA is going to notify the Department of State at 8:30 p.m. of the incident, but they all choose to wait until the morning to tell the president. So keep in mind, the person who's supposed to be commander-in-chief over everything, 48 hours have gone by, basically, before we're even going to bother notifying the president.
That's too many. 24, maybe he asked to not... Who?
Kennedy.
Okay, maybe he didn't like to be disturbed at night. Maybe he's like, I need my sleep to be at my best.
Maybe.
But 48 hours that's too...
It's a bit
that
much.
Doesn't matter. That's too long.
On the 16th, Kennedy is going to inform his attorney general, his brother, Robert Kennedy, that he believes these missiles to be a legitimate threat to the United States. Yep.
Okay, yeah.
And asks him to start negotiations with Anatoly Dobrynin. It's Dobrynin. It's fucking Russian name. I don't know. To find a resolution. Basically, he's using his brother as a diplomat to go to a Russian diplomat to be like, hey, look, we see the nuclear missiles in Cuba. Can't have that. What can we do to not have that? But this effectively starts the timeline.
This is going to make a lot of Americans unhappy if they find out what we know.
Yeah. This starts the 13-day incident timeline. So moving forward, we're here, we're up to date, missile crisis has begun. The U.S. options. Obviously, John F. Kennedy is concerned about these missiles and brings a meeting of the National Security Council together and other key advisors known as the Executive Committee of National Security Council, or XCOM, which, I'm sorry, if you're going to make an acronym out of what we just said, XCOM doesn't fit with the Executive Committee of National Security Council. That would be XNSC, not XCOM.
Yeah. Well, okay, so my wife works with a German company, and they do their acronyms that way. Not like we do, where it's like first letter, first letter, first letter. They like just basically are just shortening it to make it sound whatever's best. And so this could be post WW2 German influence.
Could be.
From some of the scientists we stole.
It could be. Kennedy was immediately advised of the following options. Number 1, do nothing. It's always a good option. Just
Sure. Sit back, see what happens. Maybe, that's the approach that I take when like my car has a light come on.
Yeah.
Wait it out. Maybe it'll go away.
Option number 2, diplomacy. Use diplomatic means to pressure Russia to remove the missiles, which has already started. We've already done that.
That's the whole sending his
brother over there.
His nepotism baby. Over there.
Yeah, this complete nepotism. Number 3, approach Castro and inform him to split with Russia or get invaded. Which that sounds like a really awful option because that's why he's gone to Russia is to prevent an invasion. So
that's basically saying, hey, we would like a war.
That's a war.
Please.
Option 3 is war. Option 4 is Johnny. Hold up. Option 4 is double war. Airstrike to knock out the missile facilities and damage infrastructure, followed by an immediate invasion.
Which is basically okay. So that's like what we've been doing since like the 90s.
Yeah.
Basically to everybody just
that path. Yep.
All your shit's gone.
Kennedy's
you need us. Let's install some people we want.
In the meeting, Kennedy's like, "Hey, listen. Remember the Bay of Pigs? That failed.
Well, no, you didn't. And
you want to? You want to try it again?
Yeah, that seems.
On the 18th, Johnny is
all right.
Sorry, buddy. On the 18th, John F. Kennedy is going to meet with the Soviet Minister of Foreign Affairs, Gromyko, Gromyko, and says, hey, can we not have missiles there? Gromyko is like, hey, they're just for defensive purposes only because, remember the Bay of Pigs? We don't want that to happen again. So these are for that. Kennedy's like, I hear you, but nuclear missiles don't really seem very defensive.
That's hypocritical. Unless we are in offensive positions all around the world. Yeah, is that what we are? Are we in offensive positions surrounding this globe with our nuclear weapon sites?
Gromyko is like, hey, listen, if you invade us, we're going to launch them. If you leave us alone, they're just going to sit there collecting dust, being a burden to our taxpayers. Kennedy's like, I hear ya, but you're communists, and I don't like that, so remove them. So the United States official response, Kennedy decides to take a less aggressive approach. Noticing that the sites aren't fully operational yet, he decides to conduct a blockade of Cuba to prevent the new weapons material getting into the country.
Right, so basically, they have construction sites that we recognize, and now we're like, you can't finish it.
There are definitely some missile material there. Like it's
right, but you can't. I mean, if you have a missile and you can't launch it, the hell good is it?
Good is good. Yep. Unfortunately, Johnny, if you do a blockade and call it a blockade of a sovereign nation's waterways, that's actually a declaration of war. So
people don't like that. Wait, you can't just cut off all imports, exports, and whatever to a country.
Which, by the way, this is where the whole,
there's nothing wrong.
We stop the imports of Cubans and cigars and all that fun stuff. But anyways, they can't do that. That's illegal. Well, not illegal, but it's a declaration of war.
It's right. You're saying,
Yeah. So
cutting off one's supplies is, that's.
Instead of calling it a blockade, he calls it a quarantine, saying that all ships are going to be stopped and searched before going to Cuba. If they don't have offensive military weapons, a.k.a. nukes, on board, then they're free to go. If they do have those on board, they're not going to be confiscated. They're just going to be sent back to wherever they came from.
So just basically New York style stop and frisk law.
Stop and frisk law for everybody.
Where they can,
which is also
we're just gonna assume that you probably have some shit until we figure out that you don't.
Yeah.
And then if you don't, you're fine, and if you do, then we are going to beat you in the streets or whatever. I don't know. I don't know what the solution is.
To try to calm things down a little bit more, they also use Latin American participation with Argentina destroyers being a part of the whole blockade, quarantine. So that way it's like, it's not an American thing. We got Latin American support too with one country's singular destroyer.
Yeah. Okay.
Sure.
Argentina. It's not.
Oh,
there's a lot.
There's some Germans that went to
World
Argentina.
War II. A couple. A lot of World War II ties here that I might start a conspiracy theory about.
you
if
might,
there's
Johnny.
not one. If there is,
and Johnny,
I'll get on to it.
On October 22nd, the blockade is in effect. Khrushchev is pissed, saying, hey, this is an active war. It violates international water space and Cuban water space. And Kennedy's like, quarantine.
Yeah. Duh, idiot.
And while all this goes in... while all of this is going into effect, Kennedy tells the U.S. people what's going on, saying any attack from Cuba on any nation is an attack on the United States, and non-Eastern Bloc nation leaders are put on notice that shit may pop off at any minute. So
wait, so any attack on Cuba is an attack on the United States?
No. Any attack from Cuba on any nation is an attack on the United States. Yeah.
Anywhere.
So
if they went down to
Argentina,
Madagascar,
yes,
they're like, hey, we want your sloths.
Yep.
They're attacking the United States.
Yep. Johnny, and in the background,
that's not how.
Yeah, I know. I get
reality is.
Nope. In the background of all of this, JFK is actually communicating with Dwight D. Eisenhower because JFK feels a little out of water, and Eisenhower, being a World War II, again, another World War II connection, general of good merit, and ex-presidente, is like, hey, maybe what we should be doing is not getting ourselves in fucking war.
Wait, what? Are you telling me the president who went through World War II thinks it's a bad idea to get involved?
Into another world war? Yeah.
Did I do that? Am I right?
Yeah. It's still kind of funny that you have a current president.
Hey, that was bad for us. That was not good.
Yeah, it's still funny that you have a current president like going to a former president and asking for advice. It'd be like Trump going to Obama and being like, "Hey, I fucked up. Can you help me?" Like
I don't think it'd be like that.
It's not going to happen today. It's never going to happen today.
No, I think it'd be like Obama going to Bush, which I think did happen.
Yeah, that probably did.
Remember when we were a little bit normal as a country? Almost
that's been a while.
Yeah, that was fun.
So cool. Johnny, after the announcement for JFK, after him talking to Dwight D. Eisenhower, it's become official. The United States is now at DEFCON 3, which is an increase of force readiness beyond the normal operations. Air Force is ready to deploy within 15 minutes. So basically, every Air Force
DEFCON
base
is more severe, right? DEFCON 1 is like
immediate. DEFCON 1 is immediate. We're at war. Yeah, launch the fucking nuclear missiles.
Or they've been launched or something. DEFCON 1 is like worse than just war. But okay, but we're at DEFCON 3.
DEFCON 3 is all air bases are notified of possible imminent action.
Ready,
forces are put on alert.
Stay on standby.
You've got 15 minutes. Yeah, the Air Force, any Air Force base can be deployed within 15 minutes. Is what the expectation is, which means you're fueling up the jets as we speak.
Right. Pilots are just hanging out in cockpits or outside the plane, ready to get in, and everything's like just set up.
At least on base, like ready to go, like a firefighter.
Yeah. You don't have people like just napping and chilling and nobody on call.
Now, in the background of all of this going on, there are secret negotiations going on between Robert Kennedy and the Russians. Those are ongoing. On October 24th, a cable from the United States Secretary of State George Ball to the United States ambassador in Turkey and NATO states that they may remove the nuclear missiles in Italy and Turkey in exchange for Cuba. It's like, look, this might be our best bet. We'll get rid of those nuclear missiles if Cuba gets rid of theirs. So just be aware that we're probably going to do this. Italy and Turkey are like, no, we need them because you gave them to us. We want them.
Yeah.
Sure.
No takesy backsies.
No takesy backsies.
Yeah, there's a very racist term for that.
Yeah.
That we don't use anymore.
On the 25th, the United Nations Secretary or Security Council, is in an emergency session where the U.S. is trying to pressure Russia into admitting the missiles exist in Cuba. Because up to this point, Khrushchev,
Russia's like,
to the world, is like, no, there's no missiles.
No, not yet.
Russia is still going, they don't exist. In response to that, the United States raises its alert level to DEFCON 2. All armed forces are ready to deploy within 6 hours. So this is if you are a reservist, if you are a full up, ready to go.
All
military forces are now on full alert.
National Guard, too, is even.
National Guard, everybody.
Coast Guard? Not the Coast Guard, though.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, Coast Guard.
No.
They are all called up.
Shut up.
They are.
No, the Coast Guard's not ready for anything. They have to be ready in, like, a day.
Johnny, I don't know how to tell this.
What are they going to do? Are they going to go rescue our drowning troops?
The Coast Guard's actually on more active alert at all times than any, but that's beside the point. But
well, I know, but they're not real military. They're on active alert for search and rescue.
Pretty much, yeah. We just piss off a bunch of Coast Guard people. All three of them
That's
that exist.
Fine. I'm never going to see any of them because guess what? I'm not stupid enough to go into the fucking ocean.
Also, when you go to DEFCON 2, Johnny, when you go to DEFCON 2, there are B-52 bombers that are on continuous airborne alert, which means that not only are the planes ready to go up, they're in the air. Like, bombers with bombs, a.k.a. nukes, are in the fucking air.
Go ahead and enter your holding pattern. We're just going to circle for the next 5 to 12 business days.
And then B-47 medium bombers are dispersed to various military and civilian bases nationwide. So imagine your...
Okay, so if...
most of your
No,
local,
I was just thinking, if you are by one of these bases, all of a sudden...
bombers are flying.
Like, it's one thing you're driving down and you see a bunch of military vehicles and you go by... You know, you see one of those big old things and it's like... I mean, it's a training thing 99 billion times out of 100 billion. But, like... Imagine all of a sudden all of the Air Force starts going, and it's just bombers and just...
And it's civilian bases, too, so that, like, a lot of the small county airports...
They're getting shut down or
operate as
or
potential military bases as well. Like Columbus, Indiana, that they can
military is
house
bringing
military
stuff
vessels.
there to
so there would be,
and...
strategically across the United States.
Horrifying.
And 145, Johnny, this is where it gets really horrifying. 145 intercontinental ballistic missiles are going to stand at full alert, which means they are waiting for the order to hit that button.
How do we find the people to be in charge of that shit?
I don't know.
Because, like...
I hope really good background checks.
I hope it is 150,000 hours of mental screening.
Everything.
Like...
Something. Yeah.
It's stupid how...
Yeah.
I can't think about it.
Johnny, also on the 25th of October, the blockade is challenged. The USS Essex and the USS Gearing are attempting to intercept the Bucharest, which is a tanker ship that refuses to respond and continues on to Cuba. The U.S., being fairly certain that no military assets were on board that oil tanker, said, okay, it's fine, like, it can go, but next time, we really mean that you have to stop.
So we got a blockade that's, like, making judgment calls on whether or not somebody is disobeying because they don't understand the language, maybe they're not paying attention, whatever, or maybe they have things that could start nuclear World War III and give us real life fallout.
Yeah, not just...
Which, how much fun would that be? Right?
That'd be so much fun.
God, I
would all be about it. You know, the games are so much fun, and the TV show is so much fun. Why would we not want to live it in real life?
Oh, it'd be so good. I would love to not have my creature comforts and have to live in a survival world. I'd last 3 days.
Meanwhile, Johnny...
As soon as I realize that, like, real life isn't starting back up...
I'm ready to be done.
Punch card.
Yep. Spy planes are still showing that these missile silos are actively still being built. On the 26th, Kennedy is like, whoa, maybe invasion is the only option to get missiles out, but let's see how this all develops. Like, Because right now they're still building it. The blockade's not really working as people are still running the blockade. We've gone up to DEFCON 2. Russia's still not admitting that there are missiles. So, we got to figure out something. Meanwhile, Castro fears an invasion is imminent and asks Khrushchev to do a preemptive nuclear strike on the United States. Khrushchev, luckily, is like, we're not going to do that. We gave you these missiles.
Where'd he come from? He's not been in power long. Why?
No.
Who? Where? Who?
He's a warlord.
Who gave him?
For lack of a better word, he's a warlord. Yeah.
Oh, so that's why he's like,
Yeah.
kill him.
Yeah, pretty much. On the 27th, Khrushchev is like, listen, goes to the United States, and Castro's getting kind of hot. He was already asking me to,
is he their diplomat? He's their
no, Khrushchev is the Russian president.
Oh, okay. So okay.
So Castro asked Khrushchev, the
out.
Russian president, for Russia to go ahead and strike the United States with nukes.
Yeah. And
Castro said, or Khrushchev said, we're not going to do that. Khrushchev then goes to the United States and goes, listen, Castro's getting kind of hot. He's talking about wanting to launch these nukes. Maybe we can have a negotiation so that we don't all fucking die.
My dog wants to bite your face off. Maybe we can figure something out and I can build a fence for my dog.
He warns the United States that Castro wants to shoot down any U.S. vessel in its airspace or seaways.
And we're like, good luck. Check out these spy bombers we got.
So he goes, listen, I heard rumors that you guys are talking about wanting to remove your missiles out of Italy and Turkey. I can sell that to my people, so if you remove your missiles out of Italy and Turkey, I'll remove the missiles out of Cuban, territory because he's fucking fanatically crazy and we don't want this. United States, Kennedy's like, I can't confirm or deny that we'll be interested in doing that, but we're not going to do that.
Yeah, but no. You see, once we get our feet on the ground somewhere, we dig them in.
But here's the thing. Before this all kicked off, the United States was already talking about removing those missiles because they're not really in strategically key places. It's kind of pointless to have them there. They're also older.
They're not able to reach anywhere we can't already reach.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And they're also older technology, so it's like, the upkeep.
we gave them our shit missiles.
Yeah, we gave them our shit missiles.
You can have this. Go play with this kid.
And so Kennedy's like, we are planning on removing them. We just can't officially acknowledge that because then we would, we can't. We have to save face in this whole thing too. It's got to come off as a win for us.
Of course, yeah. No, everyone's got a.
Well, all this is going on, Johnny. One of our
don't worry about us. We're fine.
Well, all this is going on the 27th. One of our U-2 spy planes gets shot down.
What?
Cuba.
By who?
By the Cubans.
Is it because they forced all their music onto their iPods?
It might have been, yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
I was looking for a way to get it in earlier. I couldn't.
Yeah, well, you got it in down there, Johnny. Kennedy is like, what the hell, Khrushchev? And Khrushchev's like, I told you Castro's getting antsy. I didn't give that fucking order. His own people did that. Later, it's actually determined that it was a lone Russian officer acting on his own that gave the order to shoot down the U-2, so a bit of whoopsies on everybody's front.
And just a board. He's like, you know what? We're going to get that one. If I can do it.
I can see it. Hit it. On the 27th...
I'll bet you we can.
The 27th turns into Black Saturday as the U.S. Navy drops signaling depth charges. These depth charges are trying to locate a Russian submarine that they believe is in the area, and they find it because that depth charge hits real close to the fucking Russian submarine.
Now, what? So, explain a little bit. I got an idea of what that might be.
All right. So you have depth charges. You have signaling depth charges, and then you have like destructive depth charges, like the ones that are designed to destroy. So these signaling depth charges are basically they're explosive charge, but it's a much smaller charge that goes down into the water and blows up at a certain depth. Yep. It sends a shock wave out. It's basically to warn any potential subs that, hey, this is a quarantine zone. Don't enter it.
Okay, so that would the shock wave would pick up on their radar, or they'd feel it or whatever, and they'd be like, oh, okay.
So the Russians are in that sub going, yep, felt that one. And you have half the crew that's like, we're under attack. World War III's already begun. Launch the nuclear missile!
Yeah, how fucking terrifying is that? Like they're just they're underwater.
Yeah, they don't
cut off. They don't know what's happening.
It is a Russian B-59 submarine. That's a nuclear submarine that has nuclear weapons. It is operating outside of radio communications. They are too deep for radio communications with Russia or the surface with American ships. So they have honestly no idea what's going on. And suddenly, without warning, they get struck by that depth charge. It doesn't do any damage, but it's depth charge. That B-59 captain is Savitsky, who thought that war had already started and that they were under attack, and then orders a nuclear torpedo to be fired. A political officer on board also agrees. So they have two of the commanding, your commander, and then the sub-commander that are in agreements. And under normal circumstances, that is enough. That missile would have been launched, or torpedo would have been launched. Luckily, the sub-flotilla commander, Arkhipov, was aboard the B-59, also outranks everybody, and says, no, we're not going to do that. I feel like that might have just been a signaling depth charge. We have no way to confirm whether we're at war or not, and I sure as fuck am not going to be responsible for starting a nuclear war. Because if you launch that missile like that would have been...
Can we build him a statue? Who's this guy? Can we give him something?
Yeah, he should.
Hey, you saved literally humanity.
And while all this is going on, one of the United States U-2 spy planes is operating near Soviet Union, not in their airspace, but then gets lost and goes into their airspace.
Ah, yeah. No, you get warned about that when you fly a drone near airspace. You're like, hey, they're like, be careful because, once you get close to it, it might veer off. Take off.
Yeah, you never know.
Who knows? And then all of a sudden, I'm accidentally spying on the Russians? Oh, shoot. How did I do that? Oh, no.
So now the United States and Russia are at odds with each other, and it's really the closest that we get.
Over a mistake? An innocent, definitely not on purpose mistake?
Yep. On the 28th, a very panicked United States and Russia amp up negotiations. Both of them come to the table and say, listen, we both fucked up. Can we stop this already? We're getting way too close to this. Emissary sent by Kennedy.
This is like siblings that both have multiple personality disorder, and the personalities that have the intrusive thoughts are like, I'm just gonna slap the shit out of them right now, bam, and just do those personalities are now being subdued by the ones that are like, no, I'm an adult, I can't do that. Let's settle the fuck down.
Yeah.
We are going to turn this into a ballroom brawl, and we can't have that.
So, Johnny, I can't make this part up. On the 28th, emissaries are sent by Kennedy and Khrushchev, and they meet at Yenching Palace Chinese restaurant in Cleveland Park neighborhood at Washington, D.C. They meet at a China buffet.
Say it again. Read that sentence again.
Emissaries sent by Kennedy
World
and Khrushchev
diplomats trying to prevent World War III did what?
They meet at Yenching Palace Chinese restaurant in Cleveland Park neighborhood, Washington, D.C. They are negotiating World War III over a Chinese buffet restaurant.
I need the name of that restaurant again. Can you spell it?
Yenchig. Palace. This is Palace.
Washington, D.C.?
Yeah, Washington, D.C. I hope it's over, General Tso's and some lo mein. Because heaven forbid they don't actually get... Huh? It's closed.
That's terrible news.
That should be a national landmark. It should never have been closed. Yeah.
I think I'm on the wrong one. I think I'm on the wrong one. Don't worry. All right, well...
It's in Cleveland Park neighborhood.
And we got to visit.
Go to Washington, D.C. just to have the Chinese buffet.
I want to eat at the same Chinese buffet that prevented World War III from happening. That's amazing.
So basically... the meeting is Robert Kennedy trying to see if the trade deal is legitimate between Khrushchev and the United States, get missiles out of Cuba for Turkey and Italy.
And he's like, yeah, I'm sure we can do that. Have you tried the soft serve machine? It's amazing.
Yeah. Khrushchev knew the shooting down of the U-2 violated Soviet orders. He also knows that the 162 nuclear missiles in Cuba that the U.S. doesn't know about, and maybe those aren't on the table.
Okay.
He also knows that if the U.S. invades, nukes would be used and kill as an estimated third of the world's population, with most casualties he's concentrated between the United States and USSR, and neither side really wants to do that. So Khrushchev and Kennedy agree to a secret deal.
Wait, neither side wants to kill a third of the population of the world.
No.
Concentrated in their area. What if they concentrated it in, I don't know.
Well, that's not.
Let me just pick a random continent that maybe people care less about. I don't know, Africa. What if that? Do you think maybe things might have been different if they were able to concentrate the deaths elsewhere?
Yeah, but that's not where it was going to happen.
No, they didn't. They didn't have enough strongholds there to justify attacking there instead of
the official deal, Johnny, is getting hammered out. The United States is going to agree to never invade Cuba again. Notice I said again. Russia is going to pull out nuclear weapons from Cuba.
You can't do that. What do you mean? You don't invade countries when you're getting along and agreeing with them.
Yeah.
You don't invade countries when you're like, yeah, we're going to play by the rules and do shit together. You invade them when you want their shit.
Yeah. So we agree not to invade.
Okay.
They agree to pull the missiles out of Cuba. And then a secret backroom, unofficial, not written down, is that at a later date, the United States is going to remove the nuclear missiles from Turkey and Italy.
All right, just a little under the table fist bump, like, yeah, we got it.
We got it. But like, look, we can't do that. It would really piss off.
No, we're not.
Specifically, it would really piss off Turkey if we did that. If we set it for this. And Khrushchev's
my hairdresser said everything's going to be Turkish this year.
Khrushchev's like, you do understand that by me doing this underhand fist bump deal, like, I'm going to do it, but, like, I'm going to fucking, like, get ousted from my country because it's going to look like a horrible loss for me.
Yeah.
Meh. Who cares? And, Johnny, we got the aftermath. By November 9th, nuclear missiles were out of Cuba.
I mean, clearly nobody cares about the Turks.
Yeah. And the United States quarantine did a final check and ended the blockade on the 20th of November. Little known to Kennedy, the nuclear rockets that he didn't know about were still in Cuba. Missiles in Turkey and Italy were removed.
And what happened with those, Tommy?
Nothing.
Yes, nothing. Nothing. Because, guess what? Cuba was not arming itself to be offensive.
No. Missiles in Turkey and
Why
Italy
were they arming themselves, Tommy?
Because we invaded. Yeah.
Because we were going over and punching them in the face every 5 minutes.
We did.
And
that,
so, yeah, they put some fucking headgear on.
Yep,
and we're like, oh, that's an act of war. You can't do that shit. Take it off. What if I want to punch you in the face again, idiot?
The missiles in Turkey and the missiles in Turkey and Italy were removed in secret, and because it was done in secret, Khrushchev was going to be viewed as a loser.
Did we steal them in secret, or did they know? Did we tell them we were taking them? Or
we just took them. We were just like, yeah, they're about ours. Khrushchev is going to be removed from power because he's viewed as a loser, and then Kennedy is going to get shot in the back of the head.
What?
Right after
who?
This all goes.
He did what? Is he okay?
No, he's not okay.
No.
Well, he gets shot in the back of the head, and depending on how you look at the camera footage, depending on what conspiracy theory you look at, he was also shot in the front of the head.
There were conspiracy theories based around him?
Yeah, there is a couple, yeah.
Why don't we learn about any of this, Tommy? I've never ever heard about any conspiracy theories based around JFK's death. That's crazy.
Weird. A Moscow-Washington hotline is actually going to be established with a direct line to both leaders in the events where, we accidentally shoot down each other's shit, and we got to talk to each other directly. So there's, even to this day, there's a direct phone from, well, I'm not sure how much of it's a landline anymore, but there's a direct phone from Washington to...
I guarantee that's what it is. I absolutely 100% guarantee it is a fucking landline.
And it's a direct...
It might be a telegraph line. It might be a single cord that they literally ran underground, under the ocean and everything, all the way. Because that's what boomers love. God,
that's how close... I mean... This whole thing came down to if you had one nuclear sub commander that just said, who wasn't there. Like, if the flotilla commander wasn't there, that torpedo would have been launched. If Kennedy was listening to his advisors a little bit more, we'd have done airstrikes and invaded, and that would have been all there was to it. Yep. If Kennedy would have responded in an aggressive manner to the U-2 being shot down, that's all there would have been to it, that we would have had all-out fucking war. Or if Khrushchev would have listened to Castro and went like, yeah, I agree. Let's launch the missiles early. We would have been at war. So...
But remember, folks, the president that you elect doesn't matter because they don't really do that much.
Yeah. Yeah. But it didn't happen, and now we still have to pay taxes and go to work every day. So, thanks.
I don't think that's the case. Oh, just because not nuclear war and
no
death.
war, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Well, thanks for that, dickheads. That's it for this week in Historic Hindsight. Thanks for listening. Be sure to subscribe, rate, review, and join us next week. We're going to break down another president. Probably an asshole. I don't know.